Hi, my name is Arya, and I'm 29 years old. Before I even dive into this story, let me just say this. Never underestimate a woman who's been betrayed. Because when I found out what my husband did, he had no idea the storm he was about to face. But wait, before I spill all the tea, make sure you hit that subscribe button because you do not want to miss how this revenge story turns out. So here's how it all started. My husband Jason and I had been together for almost 7 years, married for 3. To everyone else, we looked like the perfect couple. He was charming, successful, and always made me feel like I was his number one. Or at least, that's what I thought. But then little cracks started to show. Late nights at the office, his phone suddenly became glued to his hand. And the worst? That gut feeling, the one every woman knows but sometimes tries to ignore. I kept telling myself, Arya, don't be paranoid. He loves you. But my heart wouldn't let it go. One night he came home super late, smelling like perfume that was definitely not mine. When I asked him about it, he laughed it off and said, "Oh babe, one of my coworkers hugged me goodbye." You're overthinking? Yeah, sure. But I wasn't stupid, so I started paying attention. And trust me, once a woman starts connecting the dots, the truth unravels faster than you think. I checked our credit card statements, fancy dinners I knew nothing about, hotels he claimed were for business trips. I even noticed an Uber ride ending at an apartment I'd never been to. That's when I decided I needed proof. Not just for myself, but so he couldn't gaslight me anymore. I confided in my best friend Sarah, and we came up with a plan. The next time Jason said he had to work late, I followed him. My heart was racing, palms sweating, but I kept driving. And sure enough, he didn't end up at the office. He pulled into that same apartment complex from the Uber receipt. I waited outside for nearly an hour, and then I saw her, a tall brunette, laughing as she walked him to his car, kissing him like I didn't even exist. My stomach dropped. That was the moment everything changed for me, because from that night on, I wasn't the heartbroken wife anymore. I became the woman planning revenge. After that night, everything inside me shifted. I wasn't crying. I wasn't begging. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was calm. And let me tell you, when a woman is calm after betrayal, that's when you should really be scared. I remember sitting in my car, watching Jason drive away from that apartment, and thinking, he really believes I'll never find out. He thinks I'm clueless. That arrogance would be his downfall, so I played it smart. I didn't confront him right away. Instead, I acted normal. Sweet, supportive wife Arya. I still cooked dinner, kissed him goodnight, and even asked him about work. But secretly, I was gathering every piece of evidence I could. Screenshots of messages I caught glimpses of, copies of bank statements, and even photos from the night I followed him. Sarah told me, "Girl, you've got enough proof. Just call him out." But no, I didn't want just a confrontation. I wanted justice, and here's where it gets juicy. Jason had been bragging about a big promotion at work. He was so proud, telling everyone he was about to be made regional manager. His company loved the family man image he put on. They even used photos of us in their corporate newsletters, so I thought, why not let them see the real Jason? I put together a neat little folder with all the proof. Dates, receipts, pictures, even a timeline of his lies. I made sure it was organized like a professional report. Then I anonymously emailed it to his boss and HR department. And while that bomb was ticking, I started preparing my personal revenge. See, Jason and I shared a joint savings account. And guess what? Most of the money in it was mine. Years of savings from my side hustle and freelance work. Before he could ever touch it, I transferred every single dollar into a private account he didn't know about. Then came step 3, timing. His company was throwing a fancy dinner party to celebrate the new promotion candidates. Jason begged me to come. "It'll mean so much to me if you're there, Arya," he said. Oh, I wouldn't miss it for the world. The night of the dinner, I wore the most stunning dress I owned, walked in holding his hand, and smiled like nothing was wrong. But inside, I was just waiting, because I already knew what was coming. Halfway through the evening, Jason's boss pulled him aside. His face went pale. His hands shook. And within minutes, whispers spread through the room like wildfire. People were staring at us. At him, and that's when I knew. The first stage of my revenge had landed perfectly. After the whispering started at the dinner, everything accelerated like a scene from a movie, and I was the director. Jason stumbled back to our table, face drained of color. He tried to force a smile, like some actor who forgot his lines. His boss, a normally composed man, kept glancing at his phone. I watched the way Jason's jaw clenched and knew the dossier had landed where it hurt most. When we got home that night, Jason exploded. He accused me of ruining his career, of public humiliation, of being petty. He said things that, frankly, embarrassed him more than they hurt me. But I stayed calm, remember? And that calmness felt delicious. I walked him to the door, set his overnight bag on the hall table, and said, "You made your choices." Then I left the room like a queen leaving a court of fools. News spread further than I expected. Colleagues texted, mutual friends called with awkward silences, and even our neighbor, who used to wave every morning, started avoiding eye contact. Jason's promotion evaporated. HR opened an investigation, and he was put on leave pending a deeper review. His private lies had become corporate liabilities. The woman from the apartment? Turns out she wasn't just a fling. She was someone he'd been grooming for more than a year, and she was conveniently a client contact. Messy, complicated, deliciously exposed. But the career hit was only the first act. Remember the joint account? After I transferred the savings, I also arranged the legal paperwork to protect my assets. I consulted a lawyer, not to divorce immediately, but to secure what was mine. He had assumed our money was a shared sea he could dip into. Instead, he woke to find his ship stuck on a dry dock. When he realized his access was gone, the voice that screamed at me turned smaller, more pleading. That voice didn't work on me anymore. The final twist. I didn't want to destroy him completely. Revenge isn't about making a monster. It's about reclaiming power. So I demanded one thing, honesty. I insisted he tell everyone the truth, own his lies, or I'd share even more. The proud man who once smiled in company photos had to face the fallout publicly. He apologized in a statement that sounded hollow, and he tried to salvage what was left with bland promises. I accepted none of it. Months later, life looked different. I closed that chapter with dignity. I kept my savings, I kept my dignity, and I kept the lessons. I started a small online boutique with the money I'd saved for years and watched it grow. People asked how I stayed sane through it all. My answer was simple: I didn't lose myself. I rebuilt her. If you're listening, and you felt that sting, this happened to me, then I planned. And you won't believe what happened next. Know this: you deserve the truth, you deserve to be safe, and you can choose how to rise. If you want the full details, every screenshot, every text, every moment I planned, watch the full video and subscribe. I'll share everything there, and I promise you'll feel less alone after you hear it.